Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey there, Meteorologist Tuttle back with you again. It's been a few days. Usually summertime, I usually kind of lay off just a little bit because, I can only tell you it's going to be hot and dry for so long. So anyway, but I did want to give you an update because we are expecting some extreme heat coming our way in, unfortunately, the short term. So we'll get you up to date on that. Plus, just good to see you out there. It is Friday. It's lunchtime, so I hope you've had a great work week, and I hope you have a good weekend coming up and ready to get out there. Make sure you, drink plenty of water, seek lots of shade, all that kind of stuff. The standard protocol out there, right? Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is the fact that we've got sunshine, and a lot of it. Clear skies out there across most of Oklahoma, really, here in Oklahoma City as well. Temperature already climbing up there, 94 degrees on my backyard thermometer with a light south-southeast breeze at times. We're going to continue to get a little on the toasty side, so we'll look elsewhere here across the state. We've got 90s already showing up here across all of central, eastern, western Oklahoma with, believe it or not, we've got this stuff right here. It's already over 100 out in the Panhandle. Man, it's not even noon. Could you imagine not even being noontime and already at 102? That's just gross, right? Ugh. Yeah, not good. All right, winds out there, as we talked about, from the south and southeast direction here in central Oklahoma, this little patch here over Oklahoma County. Otherwise, most of the winds are kind of out of southwesterly direction. They're picking up a little bit more, gusts up to around 20 to 25. And anytime you get a southwest component to the wind at the surface, you usually warm things up just a few more degrees. And so that's one of the components out here in the western parts of the state. Now, the drought, as we talked about, has returned. The resurgence is upon us. So abnormally dry here across most of the state with some pockets of extreme drought resetting up here across northwest Oklahoma. Ironically, near Woodward, where they saw about 4 to 5 inches of rain. And just that one cluster of storms that just sat there the other morning. Now, southeast Oklahoma did see some thunderstorms later in that day, produced a few more showers the far southeastern parts of the state. Otherwise, it hadn't been much in the way of rainfall here to speak of for, the last several days. Will that change? Let's take a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere. Let's look at the jet stream pattern. Now, I want to show you, you're going to focus your attention on this kind of circular feature right here, the west of Oklahoma, right? So let me put a disclaimer, or I guess a graphic, I should say, right here where I'm talking about. So this would be a region of we call it high pressure. Really, it's a high center of higher heights. But to make it easy, we just say high pressure, and we have this as a subsidence and sinking air mass. And the airflow around a high, if you read my blogs, I do point this out a lot, does go clockwise around a high. So a lot of times you can get, let's see here, probably this guy I'll use, something like this little upper disturbance. It's all this little bright color of energy, right? And it will often rotate around and then come on down into parts of Oklahoma sometimes, if they can hold together and if it's strong enough, and we have at least some moisture somewhere in the atmosphere. We can squeeze out some cloud cover, and yes, on occasional, some showers of storm. So that's usually how we roll during the middle part of our summer. And that's kind of what's happened here so far. So what happens with this high? Well, let's take a look at it with time. So this is Friday morning, so this is today. We'll go through time here. That ridge stays out to the west as we head into Sunday midday. But look what happens. You see that little batch of colors on the map going through Oklahoma? That's that upper level energy. So again, if I backdate it all the way to here, see how it starts out across Nevada, Utah, and it kind of comes up over the top of that high and then rotates. Piece of it goes off into the Midwest, Chicago, Great Lakes, and a teeny tiny piece goes right here over Oklahoma. So that will be our next rainmaker. It's not a big signal, it's a little signal, but that's all you get during the summer. Now that little energy rotates through on Sunday, all right? And then what happens to the high? Well, this particular model tries to reposition it briefly right here over Oklahoma, Kansas, with a 597 value point. Now, when that happens, let me put this on here for you. When you get one this close, that means the heat really cranks all over this region of the country. I mean, we really bake underneath that specific positioning. What we want is this high to shift back out here. As a matter of fact, the farther it goes, the more relief we have, and the better shot of seeing some occasional rain. Now, if it goes the other way and it goes out here, that's fine too, but it's got to go a pretty good distance out here. But we just don't want it on top of us, and unfortunately, we're going to be on top of us at least for a few days, and that's going to kind of help the weather pattern to crank up those temperatures a little bit. So when you look at temperatures above or below normal, this is at the surface, this is where we live and breathe. The red in the numbers, the higher they are, obviously, the stronger the departure from normal. So Canada, most of the U.S., there's some, like for example, here is, let me go to Saturday afternoon. There's a little cool spot right here in the central part of the country. That's not bad. You know, that's thanks to the weak front that's going to be coming on in for Sunday with that little weak disturbance. So here's a look at Sunday itself. There's a little bit of a cool down there. See, there's some nice blue on the map. Look at that. But the cooler air sinks off to our east, really, so we don't get a whole big blow of that. And there is some cooler up to the north in the northern states. But look up here in the southern states, right here in Oklahoma. By the time we head into Tuesday of next week, you can see all these numbers jump up to 15, 16, maybe even 20 degrees above normal. So that's a pretty good peak of the heat, and it kind of calms down a little bit, but then there's some flarings here across the central plains. Again, that's because of that position of that ridge. Here's one all the way out to Sunday the 24th. Readings up here are into the 20 plus degrees above normal. So that's pretty nasty stuff for the brutal part of summer. But you know what? It's typical. It's late July, early August, and that's usually when we max out on heat anyway. So it's not unheard of. It's just gross. All right, so we zoom in to the jet stream pattern, and we'll take a look at that little disturbance coming in to time it out a little bit better for you. All right, here comes that little wave. This is on Sunday morning. So we should see some showers, elevated thunderstorms here with this little wave on Sunday morning as it moves through southern Kansas on into northern Oklahoma. Some of those may fall apart, but then regenerate with some daytime heating in the position of the front here by noontime on Sunday. So that energy is still there, moving through the state. So fingers crossed that produces a little bit better activity for us. You can see more energy drops down here across Missouri and Arkansas. So that's where the other area of showers and storms will look like, and this continues. There's another little secondary wave here on Monday, but there may not be much with that. Depends on what happened to the front. Speaking of which, let's take a look at that. So let me animate here through time, and I'll stop it right where the front approaches. This is a very weak front, by the way. Don't get too excited. And I do mean don't get too excited. So I'm going to get to the last front. Remember, the last front knocked us down about 5 or 6 or 7 degrees, depending on where you were. This one won't be doing that so much. All right, so here's 1 o'clock on Sunday, 2 o'clock. So the front is moving through. Basically, it's here in southeastern Kansas, heading up to Stillwater, moving right through Oklahoma City, and then points down the south and west. So the cooler air is coming in behind it. So that'll be the boundary to get some storms to try to fire up along this frontal boundary, especially the farther north and east you go. Once you get pretty much west of Oklahoma City, we don't have much to work with. Most of that energy isn't out here in the upper levels to kind of help to trigger those storms, unfortunately. So kind of the way it is. Let me see here. By the time we head into Sunday evening, the front still pushes through, looks like it's passed close to I-40 on back down to just south of Oklahoma City. It's like it's starting to stall out some. So on Monday, any residual boundary left over with that little secondary weak disturbance may trigger an isolated shower storm, but it's going to be slim pickings. All right, so here's a look at how that rain should progress. The models do indicate those showers bubbling up, maybe some thunderstorms here by Saturday night, Sunday morning across Kansas, moving into far northern Oklahoma. The activity continues into the morning hours on Sunday, so here's your chance of rain, although it's not that great, here across northeast and central and maybe even western Oklahoma. The models did like that little spot out there along I-40 for Sunday afternoon. As far as any big-time thunderstorms, though, with the actual front itself, they kind of hold those off until late day, and those would be from Oklahoma City stretching northeast on the turnpike up toward Arkansas. My brain just said, what? All right, now big picture of that will show you, let's see here, right here. There's that big cluster of rain moving through Missouri on Sunday morning, and then there's an afternoon resurgence here for southeastern Kansas and all of Missouri. and then back into northeastern Oklahoma. So again, that's the big focus area where again you have most of that upper level energy. The rest of us, unfortunately, we're going to get the heat. So what kind of heat we're talking about? Well, today, how about back up to around 100 degrees or better in some areas of the state? This includes on up to the north. What about Saturday? Saturday, same kind of deal. Looking anywhere from around 103 to 100 and maybe 5 or 6 degrees out there across the state. I mean, it's getting hot east to west. There is no escape. What about on Sunday? Well, the position of that front is coming in, but a lot of times you get some warming ahead of the front called compressional warming. And that causes temperature to go just a couple of degrees on the upside. So right now it's got Oklahoma City at 107 as that front pushes through in the mid-afternoon and kind of stalls out some. So it'll be a hot day on Sunday. Now, that heat will help to fire off those thunderstorms, to help break the cap along with the front. We don't have a whole lot of moisture with it, but it should at least generate something for us. But that does come with some damaging winds. So you do, anytime you get a storm this time of the year, just like we had a week ago here in Oklahoma City, you can get damaging winds that come out of these thunderstorms called downbursts and microbursts. All right, so here's a look at Monday afternoon highs, and we're still in the hundreds. Remember how I said this cold front isn't much of a doer? It knocked us down a couple degrees, and that was it. And that's all we could hope for. Now, as we head into, let's go from Monday to the highs on Tuesday afternoon. 110, 113. So these are actual air temperatures. These are not the humidity factor in, so not the heat index, just actual brutal numbers. And we're in the 110s. On into Wednesday, we calm down just a little bit. The upper levels of the atmosphere, that jet stream pattern, we'll see what happens with that upper level high, where it goes. But for right now, we're still holding it close to 110 degrees out there across many areas of the state. And that takes on into the weekend on the 22nd for Friday onward. And we're still 105 plus. But hey, it looks like it does. No, it doesn't. I was going to say it does cool down a couple degrees, but it bumps right back up. So there's Sunday afternoon on the 24th. Right back up in the heat. So that is no bueno. If you want to factor in all the model data and take like an average to kind of give you some hope, it does try to keep things here in Oklahoma City decent, between 104 to 107 here over the next few days, and then maybe low 100s as we head down to extended. Now this all depends on how that high kind of moves around, and the models really don't agree with the position of it. Most of them will have it out to the west, which would give these lower numbers. So I'm going to show you what happens if the high doesn't shift out to the west, right? We get back up into 105 to 110 real easy. Let's see here. This map really cranks it up. It likes the 105 to 110 to 111. And if you want to take that on out for the rest of the month, so you're looking at easily 100 plus degrees all the way to the end of July. So that is what I have here for you. Unfortunately, it's not a lot of good news, and that's probably why you don't want to see this face, because if you do, it's not good news for the summer. It means hot. Sometimes it can mean a nice little cool down of some thunderstorms, but more than likely it's going to be hot. So I try not to give you such depressing news that often. You can use my weather app, though. It is free, and you can look at that 10 times a day if you want. It will give you all the depressing news you could ever want. It's called AT's Weather to Go, Apple and Google Play. Check it out. You can also visit my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com. Some of you may have noticed recently on a post on Facebook, I did pass the state exam for my real estate license. So for those folks that are wondering, no, I'm not quitting weather. It's just, you know what? I like to stay busy, so why not? So I threw real estate into the hat. My wife is a realtor, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to help her out. We'll make it a Team Tuttle thing. So we've got Team Tuttle Realty. You can go there right now on the website, teamtuttlerealty.com. So if you're looking for a house, you're going to sell a house, you know of someone that does, please direct them our way. You can actually, real easy. I mean, you can narrow down and filter anything and everything you possibly want on our website. It's so simple, easy to use. So try it out for both buying and selling. It's at teamtuttlerealty.com. So check that out. And I'll have more on that later as I sign up with my broker, and then we kind of go through that whole official motion. But for right now, she's running the show. I'm just the face. So that's it for now. I will be back again at some point soon, hopefully with some changes in our forecast. But right now, you've got the latest for the rest of July as it looks right now. I'm always looking for some, silver lining. Unfortunately, this time around, I just saw some really oppressive heat, so I thought I might let you know about that. And there's at least a slim shot of some rain for the weekend for Sunday. So if you have any outdoor plans, just make sure you have a backup for a late day especially in the morning, in the morning hours for showers or whatever, dying to showers or storms. But especially in the late afternoon, evening across central and northeast Oklahoma along the I-44 corridor and I-40, because some of those storms, if they do get going, they'll have some big wind with them. And those winds can be up to around 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. And there's a lot of transport momentum that comes down, which can cause some damage to the surface. As some of you guys know, here around the Oklahoma City metro area, that can knock out some power for a day or two, depending on how much there is. So, a little tidbit there. All right, well, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, telling all your friends about AT's weather. And as always, I appreciate your support all year long. It helps to fund what I do here, so I'm always going to be grateful for that. And I'm going to get out of here. So you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.